Pantheon profile number 26, Rakus. I literally found him by searching on YouTube for Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. So he's been putting out Pantheon content. He's really excited about the upcoming game. I've never met him before, so we'll learn about him together. Onward and upward.
So my character name is going to be Rakus, spelled R-A-K-U-S. I just like to say Rakus, but I guess most people would say Rakus or Rakus, which is also cool. But that was my first name that I had when I started Vanilla WoW, back on my Hunter Night Elf a long time ago, and I think that's kind of what name I would use in Pantheon. Most of the time the name is taken though. I'm not sure why, because I don't think that means anything really. Maybe because it's a short name, you know, it doesn't have any signs in it maybe. So I might put something at the end, maybe a Rakus talent, maybe a Rakus, you know, I'm not sure. But I'm going to try and get the name Rakus as soon as I can. I will most likely do an elf. That is, I'm almost 100% sure that that's going to be the case. I was always a big fan of elves when I look back at like Lord of the Rings, right? Or like, just like I mentioned before in Vanilla WoW, where I made a night elf as my first ever character. I just love the elves for being like one with nature, you know, they are like the spiritual kind of race. I just love that, and also the fact that they kind of are, most of the time they are like immortal, or like more likely not immortal, just live for very long. I think the idea of elves is just super cool. So I most likely do an elf, and there I would also go for an ember elf, right? Because they're like more of this kind of like one with the forest type of guy, instead of like the Asian elves. We see more like some magic elves. So we'll see, but definitely an elf. And then for class, I'm not quite sure, because I'm not sure what classes elves can do. I'm not sure if that is already out. I have to check out the website of Pantheon, because I'm not keeping up too much with it. I do it once in a while, but then I miss a lot of things too. And so I would probably say a ranger, maybe a warrior, or maybe like anything else that seems interested that maybe haven't played. But I would say maybe a ranger, ember elf. Let's go with that for now. First time I heard about that game was actually in a Co Carnage stream. I was watching Co because he was playing a certain game. I'm not sure what game anymore. And after that he had like a dev stream with the devs from Pantheon. And I was just like, when I heard the devs talk about on those old school values that like EverQuest had maybe, right? Even though I never played EverQuest, I was getting really nostalgic and really like kind of felt like that is something that I want to experience as well. You know, coming from WoW Vanilla, it was also very different than EverQuest, right? I heard like back in the day, EverQuest people were like thinking, oh, WoW Vanilla is so much easier, right? And that was probably also the case, but like that's where I started. And it's kind of sad that even though people said that back in the day, if you look at what WoW is nowadays compared to what it was in Vanilla, there's also a really big difference, right? And so I'm really looking back to those times, and I just hope that we're gonna have a great time there, and that it's going back a bit more to the old school values of MMORPGs. I currently don't have any guild. I might look into making one maybe, or starting one with some people that I know, because I started like playing Guild Wars 2 recently. I meet a lot of new cool people, having a lot of fun in the game, even though it has its own flaws obviously, but I was looking for a different MMORPG than obviously WoW. And so I would say I try to make one maybe with some Guild Wars people. Sadly, most of the people I remember from WoW or used to talk with in WoW, they just started playing different games or stopped or all kind of left. And so I hope to start something new in Pantheon, and we'll see what happens. Well, you probably get tired of this, but hey, it's WoW Vanilla, right? I grew up with that game. It just a lot of nostalgic feelings coming up. When I talk about Vanilla WoW, it was just such a great time, and WoW was so good up until the last patch of Wrath of the Lich King, right? And that's kind of where they started doing a lot of changes to the game. Just the art style, for example, changed, right? You had this really old school kind of look of vanilla where stuff was maybe not as detailed, but at the same time everything looked a bit more darker. You know, it was a bit more, it took itself a bit more serious. And then with a change in, like, I think it was Cataclysm, they went just a step closer towards Disney, and the stuff people was running around, and the running animations, the mount running animations. I was not a big fan of this anymore, right? And it plays a big part on how the game looks. I think they were just trying to cater to a new audience, maybe, I'm not sure. But there was a lot of other changes. There were a lot of other changes that came with that game, like a lot of stuff that seems very good and convenient first, but then it has like a big side effect of like kind of destroying the community, right? Which they, as an MMORPG developer, for some reason never really thought about. That's kind of sad, but it would probably be Vanilla WoW. That's like my favorite MMORPG so far. So here I would like to mention something that happened recently, even though that was in Guild Wars 2. Like I said, because I don't play WoW anymore. But Guild Wars 2 just showed me something, no matter how much else maybe is not good with Guild Wars 2, it showed me something that is very, very, very important to an MMORPG. And I had this moment recently in Guild Wars 2. So I was running around in this forest in front of Divinity's Reach, the biggest human city, and I was leveling there. I was walking around, just minding my own business, you know, and then I was actually also streaming, and people were talking to me. I had a lot of fun. And then I met this one mob, and it was like a champion of the bandits or something. And me coming from WoW, knowing that outside in the world there's almost nothing that you cannot beat, right? Even elite mobs in WoW became some kind of joke. I just charged up in there, and I thought, well, I can take that guy down. It was a mistake. It was a big mistake, trying to fight that guy by myself. And I loved it. I loved it that was a mob that I cannot fight by myself. There's something stronger than me. There's a force stronger than me. And I went up to the street looking for other people. There was a guy running by on my level. He was walking by, and I messaged him like, "Stop, dude! You have to take that guy down." And if we freeze right there, right at that moment, a situation like this would have not happened in WoW. It would have not happened. And so no matter what's wrong with Guild Wars or what flaws there are maybe, I just want to hold that moment kind of and kind of explain that this is just, it was just so much, even though it seems like so little, right? The interaction that this one mob forced on me because I couldn't take him down, forced interaction with other people, messaging other people, talking to other people, and it's just something of the best things that's ever happened so far to me in an MMORPG again, especially since I came from WoW. So I went down and tried to beat that guy. We couldn't do it. We had a little bit of a chit chat. He logged off. I was looking for other people. I met two really cool people who helped me out to take that guy down. And guess what? Even nowadays, even it's been just a week, but I'm still talking to those people. It's not just some people that I blurred out because, you know, which is I just took that guy out by myself, or it was so quick that I don't remember their names anymore. It was a moment that stayed in my head. And I think that's something that WoW has lost a long time ago, and why it should not deserve any attention at all anymore to me. Even though there's people who maybe really like the raiding and the PvP, I guess that's pretty good in WoW. But everything else, it is not really an MMORPG anymore to me. This is a really hard one for me because I never was big into PvE. I was always a PvPer, especially back in the day when I was very active. So I don't remember a boss that was too hard for me when I did a raid, because I didn't do them much. But I would probably say back in the day when I was like 13 or something, and I had no idea what to do, and I was raiding Molten Core. I think there were some bosses where I was scared of, had to have problems with because I didn't know what they were doing, right? But I cannot really mention a boss or anything that I had that was the hardest for me or anything. Obviously, I would 100% have to say PvP. I was always a big PvPer, but recently, you know, I got a lot into questing, leveling. I really love and enjoy doing that, and it kind of showed me that leveling is a journey. It should always be a part of the game. That's why I'm not a big fan if like you reach the max levels within like 3 days of playing or 5 days of playing. That's for me just not a good sign of an MMORPG. And I just heard today on stream that in Guild Wars you can level to max level in 24 hours. You know, not a good thing, right? And even though Guild Wars has its flaws, I'm kind of having fun playing it right now until some of those MMORPGs come out that I'm really looking forward to, like Pantheon. Currently looking at Ashes of Creation a bit, but I know that they probably won't really go for those old core values. We'll see about that. I haven't really seen too much about it, but we'll see. But I just want the game and MMORPG to go back to its roots, where if you see 3 mobs, right? If you see 3 mobs, then you want to make sure you only pull 2 of those. Be careful, don't pull the 3rd one. Everything should be tactical and a bit more strategic, and that's kind of what an MMORPG should mean, in my opinion. Because if I want to play Diablo, then I go and play Path of Exile, right? And I don't play an MMORPG. But I would say both. I want to do both in Pantheon. I'm looking forward to do both. Like back in the day, it was only about PvP, but I kind of changed a bit in that regard. So 100% both. Always more of a main type kind of guy. I always had this one character that was super stacked out, that was super geared, that I could log in with and be like showing off, you know, on this cool gear that I have. So I would probably say main, but seeing how many cool classes Pantheon is gonna have, and the fact that I really start enjoying leveling and questing and all that kind of stuff, and I'm also a big explorer, I think that you know, I wouldn't count out to do like multiple classes, but I would go for main here. I'm probably a main for life. Also, there I was never big into professions. I know that some people have a love for this. I know that you sometimes can get really good items out of professions and all that kind of stuff. It was never my type of my type of gameplay. I was always more the explorer, the guy who goes around on every mountain, looks behind every mountain. If I see a cave, I'm going in there. You know, I want to explore everything. And I also used to do a lot of PvP, like I mentioned. So I was never a big into professions. Maybe that changes with Pantheon if they have like a cool system in there, or like some really unique professions. Who knows? I wouldn't say I would not do that, but like I said, I was never too big into professions, and in no MMORPG I played. I would obviously have to go with pizza here. I love pizza, as many other people do, and I'm also a big sushi lover. I always love eating sushi as well. Drinking, I would probably go with Coca-Cola or like a Red Bull once in a while. I was always a lot into different mice. I'm currently rocking a pink Extrafy M42. I'm loving this mouse. It's an amazing mouse, but more like for shooters, right? Not really for MMORPGs. So if I play MMORPGs, I was always using Razer Nagas, but for some reason I always had big issues with the Razer Nagas. They were always breaking down really fast. And after the 3rd one, I was like getting kind of sick of it, and I started buying a Corsair Skimitar, which is also an MMO mouse from Corsair, which with like 16 buttons, and it's a really good mouse. The only bad thing about it is like you have to set stuff up in the software first. You have to go and bind those keys first. It's not like it's just like the Razer Naga where it takes your 1 to 9 key. But it's a really good mouse once you set it up. And I still have this mouse nowadays and use it for MMORPGs too. Yeah, I'm mostly streaming almost daily now on twitch.tv/RakusTalent. I'm currently playing a lot of Guild Wars. I'm having a lot of fun playing it because I had like a really big craving for an MMORPG again. And even though it probably has its flaws, I'm not too deep into the game yet. I'm currently enjoying myself a lot, doing quests with like people from the stream. They explain a lot to me. I have a whole new world that I can explore. So I'm having a lot of fun there. On YouTube, it's Rakus Talent. And on Twitter, it's Rakus, also Rakus Talent. I really look forward to Pantheon in the way that I kind of want to see those old school values coming back, right? I want to see an MMORPG that's more strategic, more tactical, where stuff takes time, where if I go somewhere with a group, you have to be careful. I want to have this sense of danger and risk. I need that. And even though, like I mentioned before, EverQuest was way harder than Vanilla WoW, in Vanilla WoW you still had this where you were a warrior with your shield there and you didn't know, like, I have to be careful. I don't want to pull too many mobs. If I pull too many, it's over, you know. I want it to be kind of like a risky, danger kind of stuff that comes out, and that's kind of what I'm looking forward to almost the most, pretty much. Obviously also to like a new big world to explore, but I just hope that those values, that they stick to those values, right? Because that's just something that we currently don't have on the market. There's no game that you can compare Pantheon with. There's absolutely nothing out there. So I hope that it's going to be a good game as well, because people who really look forward to those values need a really good game as well, right? So I'm really positive about it. I think they can nail it. I think because there is nothing else comparable, I don't even think that Ashes of Creation is going to be comparable. I might be totally wrong, and I really hope that I'm wrong, but I think that maybe Ashes is going to be more catering to like now this MMORPGs, right, where killing mobs is easy, you know, just hit them 5 times, they fall. In Pantheon, I'm hoping for this hardcore experience, and I hope that we get that. I want to see a fight where it just takes time to do something, where the community is really building and people have to work together to do something. I can't wait, and I want to play it so bad right now. I would really like to say soon, but I have a feeling it's not going to be so soon. But then again, let's be kinda optimistic, and I would mention my birthday here. Why not? We say the 24th January 23. That's when it comes out. So let me say that.